Good afternoon, Walter Ray Williams Jr. here. I've got some bowling balls that I've been working out. I've got the original. These are left-handed for my left-handed since I'm not bowling right-handed. I had shoulder surgery about 5 months ago, and the doctor said I have 6 months before I can bowl again, so I got another month. Anyway, the first ball I drilled was the Quantum Evo Pearl, which was an old ball that I used. And Gary Faulkner drilled it out for me and did a good job on it. Then second, he did this T-zone. And then last week, I drilled this Zero Mercy solid ball. That's the first new ball I've actually drilled left-handed. Been bowling about 2.5 months left-handed, doing pretty decent, averaging almost 190 or so in my leagues. So I'm pretty happy with that. But I'm having trouble with my release. It's like my thumb wants to kind of hang up. Now, I like a lot of bevel in my ball. Gary did a good job, but I wanted to do a little bit more. So I actually worked these two balls out. I'm going to show you how I work it out a little bit. Hopefully I don't get in the way too much, but I like to use a 3-corner knife. And I like to get that front edge nice and worked out. I'm also going to work out the back part of it to make it a little bigger. I like to make sure I can put 4 or 5 pieces of tape in the ball. Actually, probably more than that, because I want to be able to take tape out and still have tape in there. I've been getting down to where I'm down to like 2 pieces, and that kind of bothers me a little bit. On my right-handed balls, I actually use a cork insert. I've opted not to do that with my left-handed balls, but just put a piece of tape in there, and here you can see I'm really grinding out the top part. Okay, so still feels I don't know. Like I said, I do want to work out the back a little bit more too, so I'm going to do that. So for those of you who are interested, I do not drill my own bowling balls. Don't drill bowling balls, never have. Wasn't really interested. A couple years ago, I was kind of interested in doing that, but the opportunity didn't really happen, so it's not a big deal to me. But still want to work that back out a little bit more. Like I said, I want to be able to put some good. I want to put a fair number of pieces of tape in there. I can take the tape out, make the thumb hole bigger, add tape, make it nice and tight. Okay, so the other part of this is adding tape. So, and for some reason, amateur bowlers seem to think that that's a conspiracy for pro shop operators to sell you more tape. I don't, like I said, I don't drill bowling balls, but if I did, I would make sure that the tape, that there was enough room to put tape in your thumb hole. I don't know of too many pros who use their thumb and don't use tape. Just something most of us do. All right, so I have I use 3/4 inch and 1/2 inch tape, and so I'm not sure why people insist on using 1-inch tape. You have to really work to get that in there. But get my other little knife here I got. This might be a little better for this. Okay. So like I said, I've got so I like to put, I'm going to have one piece on the inside towards the fingers, and I'm going to, now you see the fingers are over here. I'm left-handed. The pad of my thumb's actually going to be over here, so that's where I'm going to put this piece. I'm going to put it right over here on offset about 15 degrees or so. That way when I put my thumb in there, it's the pad of the thumb that's on that part. Now the other thing I like to do is I like to alternate when I put my pieces of tape in. That way I can take them out a lot easier. So this first one I'm going to put in is going to be kind of opposite and a little bit right, but I want to make sure I have enough room I can actually put 2 pieces of tape in there. So you can see that yellow tape there. I've got one on the top and I've got one on the bottom. I'm going to put my next one over here on this side. So that's kind of the base that I have. And if I need to and I take out pieces of tape, I will get down to that, but hopefully I'll never get down that far. If I get down to this far, I start getting nervous. I've been meaning to do this for about a month or so and just haven't done it. And I finally said, you know what, I just need to do this. Now, I also wear a little thumb patch to protect my thumb a little bit. But I'm still going to add another piece of tape here. Proper. And that one goes in the middle. So I've got on the bottom, I've got one on the right, one on the left, and one in the middle. And then I have the one on the inside. Well, that's probably going to be snug enough. It's only 4 pieces of tape, so I probably really wanted to work it out more, but I'll see how this works. Mainly I was trying to get this bevel a little bit more so that I don't hold on to the ball. I've had a problem kind of hanging on to the ball a little bit. This one wasn't too bad. This one was a lot more noticeable, and even my spare ball. So obviously I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to switch this around and work on my, oops, well, this table rotates. So I'm going to work on my T-zone. You want to have your spare ball fit just as well as your strike balls. Now, right-handed, I do have interchangeable thumbs, and interestingly enough, again, like I said, I've got that piece of tape off a little bit, kind of angled about like that. But I do have interchangeable thumbs that I use for right-handed. I really wasn't expecting to drill that many balls left-handed, so I wasn't really worried about that. I might later on if I decide to bowl a lot left-handed. Right now it's more just because I haven't been bowling and wanted to bowl. So, and I'm kind of having fun with it. It's always fun when you're improving. So, averaging almost 190 these days, so that's not too bad. Last week was not very good. It was pretty poor sessions for me both days. That was a little frustrating, especially back-to-back days. You think, oh, I'm doing really well, and then and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, nothing's working at all. So that happens though. It's not all good. If it was, and pretty soon that wouldn't be good. So always want to do better, that's for sure. I think I worked this out a little bit more than the other one. I'm actually going to put one more piece of tape in there. And when come league, I can always take it out if I need to. And I'll even go from the 3/4 inch to the 1/2 inch and switch it around sometimes depending on what I'm trying to get that quote perfect feel, which is kind of elusive. I'm actually going to go with one more piece. I might have to work out that Evo a little bit more, but I knew that originally this ball was a lot tighter and only had 2 pieces of tape in it, one from the inside and one on the back side, and I was really not liking that at all. So that's a lot better. And now my new ball. Well, anyway, what's interesting about my interchangeable thumb that I have right-handed, it actually has a mold on the inside of it. So it has a mold, an exactification of a thumb hole that I really like. And even with that, I still have about 6 pieces of tape in my thumb hole. And like I said, the main reason is I want to be able to go from taking a piece of tape out and still have tape material in there, instead of going from the tape material to this plug material or ball material or whatever it is, which is usually a lot smoother. And this tape's got a little bit of coarseness, little bit of texture to it. It's funny, when I first started bowling a lot, and originally the tape I used for years and years and years was that black tape, the electrical tape. Of course, it also got gummy and everything, but it was also so thin. I'd be putting 12, 15 pieces of tape in the thumb hole, and I finally said, "Oh, that's enough. I need to see if I can deal with this." And that worked out fine for quite a few years, so I was pretty happy with going with even this textured tape, was a little bit thicker. And originally that thumb hole, to me, when I first used it, it felt like it was loose, but I kept hanging up on it. And I think the big part of the reason was the inside. I didn't have much of a bevel there, as much as I'd like. I think that was part of it. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. We'll find out when I throw it. Might come into play. Last week I thought the first when I had it on Thursday, Bowling League, and now I see a lot of people, and this grip here doesn't seem to be quite flush. It's supposed to be flush, so I'm going to trim it down. I see some people, their grips stick way up, which is technically illegal. Of course, I see people putting powder on their thumb holes and finger holes, and they're not supposed to do that, even though it's been a rule for 5 or 6 years. Every once in a while, you see that in a PBA tournament. Don't see it as much, but every once in a while, I'll mention to somebody who's bowling in a tournament. So that's pretty close. So that's what I like to do. So I've got, like I said, I've got on this particular ball, I've got the one piece up here, and then I've got a piece here, a piece here, a piece in the middle, a piece here, and a piece here. So I've got 5 pieces in the bottom, on the back, and 1 on the top. That way, if my thumb swells a little bit, I can always take it out, make that thumb hole nice and big. That's just, for me, it's a lot simpler way to do it. Hope you enjoyed that.